including 6 by their true center Giovanni Emejuru. He will jump center against Henri Veesaar, and we are underway here in Chapel Hill.
This is a Carolina team that struggled a little bit throughout the course of the season on the offensive floor. They do their best work when they force turnovers. And if you take care of Jordan Riley in the half-court sets, you should be okay.
Emejuru takes up a lot of space inside, dealing with Veesaar, who picks up his first personal foul.
And when you go up against Emejuru, he is a load on the interior. Broad shoulders, strong frame. This guy can really carve out some space on the interior. If you're Henri Veesaar, you have to do a nice job moving your feet throughout the course of this game, or he's going to eat you alive. This guy is big, he's strong, he's physical, and he's been a double-double machine this year.
Every bit of 6'10", 262, a senior from England, playing for his 4th school in 4 years. Sam Houston State, then Siena, then George Mason, and as you say, T.O., averaging about 14 points and nearly 10 rebounds per game. Well, for the 2nd game in a row, Carolina has its starting unit intact with the return of Seth Trimble. Kyan Evans at the point, and coming off the bench since the return of Trimble is Jaren Stevenson. Luka Bogavac all the way to the basket. Nobody picked him up, and he laid it in.
I love the pace the Montenegrin guard plays with. Coming off a ball screen, little hesitation. Those long steps can guide him all the way to the cup.
A brief stoppage, and now we are set to go. At the point for East Carolina, Corey Cocker. He's a junior from Sterling, Virginia, and he has been part of the issue shooting the basketball. Only 25%. You got to have better than from everybody on the floor, and especially your point guard.
And a guy that was a first-team All-American in the junior college ranks. They rely on him to ball a little bit better. Just hasn't been able to find his range so far this year.
But what he does is take care of the basketball and get them into their sets. Here he is with the basketball with a shot clock at 2, and he misfires on his first attempt. And Emejuru now picks up the foul in what should be a fun battle to watch between bigs. There's Michael Schwartz, the 4th-year head coach at East Carolina. He's a 49-year-old Southern California native who is very much out of the coaching tree of the great Rick Barnes. He was with him at the University of Texas as a walk-on player, also coached on staff both there and at Tennessee, and they're in constant contact still.
I think Coach Schwartz is fantastic. He plays hard on the defensive end. He recruits very much in the same vein as Coach Barnes did at Tennessee. And you're going to see the toughness of this team. They're going to be on the floor. They're going to play hard. They're always in the mix. But that's just good scramble offense by the Tar Heels.
Bogavac off the nice feed from Veesaar. He's got all 4 Carolina points. East Carolina playing without 5 of its players due to injury. So a bigger role lately for number 43 in black, Luka Davis. He's a native son from nearby Greenville. First block of the night for Caleb Wilson, who dribbles up right to the bucket. Trimble, and he will shoot a pair.
You want to talk about igniting the break. Freshman Caleb Wilson, unbelievable length. And one of the great things about this young man, standing right at 6'10", the recovery speed, doesn't leave his feet the first time. Now he gets the rebound, and he can ignite the break himself. Excellent advance pass to the uber athletic Seth Trimble, who lives at the foul line.
Foul on Tybo Bailey. You know, for Carolina fans, it's been refreshing to get not just 2 bigs back on the floor together, as has been historically what Carolina has done, but Coach Davis has 2 great bigs who are working in tandem, and it seems to me, T.O., that Veesaar and Wilson just keep getting better together as the season goes on.
I think there's such a mismatch, especially with Veesaar, a guy who can handle the ball in the pick and roll at 7 feet tall, and then Caleb Wilson being that lob threat. They just have so many different guys that can be your primary decision maker. And over the last couple of years, Hubert Davis, he went small last season. He's like, well, I'm going to put pressure on the paint. This season, that has not been the case. Carolina big across the board. Caleb Wilson, on top of the fact that he's 6'10", a 1% athlete. He's been that good all season.
Reed Kaysen off the ECU bench. Misfires on the turnaround. Veesaar had it for a moment. Picked up by Kaysen. Stolen away by Caleb Wilson, and here he comes. The man who leads the nation now with 37 dunks makes it 7-2 Carolina.
How about the length on his strides right there? Just calm, cool, and collected in transition. Guard comes in, doesn't matter. Just a really good basketball player. Good call.
Traveling violation takes away the easy bucket. Let's take another look at Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, wrong team. Caleb Wilson, though, the composure here. You're Tybo Bailey, probably just chest him up early. I would do it out there near that third hash mark. Get there, put your chest on him, at least make the finish tough.
Well, how many times in his first 12 games as a college player has it felt like he has the ability to overwhelm a basketball game with all that he can do? Foul on the drive by Bogavac. I mean, Wilson's name already 2 months, not even 2 months into his college career at a place like Carolina. When you start stacking up what he is doing, averaging nearly 20 points and nearly 11 rebounds per game, and the consistency with which he's done it, it really is shocking the names in Carolina lore that he is already next to.
Oh, there's no question. And here's the thing, too. He hasn't really developed his game beyond the three-point line. And the shot's not broken. It's going to continue to get better and better with added reps. I mean, the things he's capable of doing. And you see, whenever you're thrown into the same conversation as the late, great Tyler Hansbrough. Well, not late. He's still around. I say all that to say this. Hansbrough, you get thrown in the same sentence as my man.
Yep.
Like you're doing something right. And Caleb Wilson so far this year, absolutely terrific in all facets except for that three-point line. And that part of his game's coming, Doug. 4
of 14 so far for Wilson. Bogavac gets 1 out of 2 from the line. Carolina scored the last 8 points in the game to take this 6-point lead. Isaiah Mbang, a sophomore from Potomac, Maryland, into the game. Feeds it inside, but the miss by Emejuru.
Oh, great pass.
Pass deflected out of bounds. Meanwhile, the Carolina defense doesn't get probably nearly as much conversation, but it this year has been good. They've yet to give up a field goal so far tonight, and they have had lockdown stretches all year long.
Well, the most remarkable part is, and you saw it on that possession, with so much size and shot blocking on the interior, they're second in college basketball in 2-point percentage defense at 41%. You don't score when you get in the paint against this Tar Heels team, and Hubert Davis, whenever you add those guys in, like a Caleb Wilson who could come over on help, like Henri Veesaar, who can move his feet at that size, you see how effective they've been over the last 4.
And top 10 in overall defensive field goal percentage. Veesaar keeps his pivot. Extra pass to the corner. Here's Trimble. Wilson fights for it. Goes back up. Off the back iron. Veesaar keeps it alive. Emejuru had it knocked out of his hands. Carolina the last to touch. Although Veesaar wants them to take another look. He's not convinced, but it will be East Carolina basketball.
The ball's already been inbounded. Whoever's doing film over there on the side. You want to talk about a high-pressure job?
Yeah.
That better be good.
Don't mess up.
That's right. You know, having called Hornets games over the past 3 years, like, I don't know that anybody has more pressure on them than the video guy.
Right.
A strong rebound.
First shot attempt by Jordan Riley, who comes in 9th in the country, averaging 22 points per game. Dangerous pass from Veesaar. Nice job by Evans to go into the paint. Trimble in the corner. Finds Veesaar cutting to the bucket. And on the reverse, he lays it in. First 2 points for the 7-footer from Estonia. Riley. His mid-range game is as good as you will see in basketball. Bogavac had it knocked away. East Carolina basketball. Bailey.
Nice extra pass. This is where East Carolina struggled. You get these opportunities, you have to be able to knock them through. So far, have not been able to do it.
First media timeout of the ball game, and the Tar Heels looking for their 6th inning dunk in the final 10 seconds. It just doesn't happen, but it had to come off a broken play.
Absolutely. I mean, just just a really tough game for North Carolina. And this young man, Derek Dixon, has played really, really well as of late, shooting a good ball from 3, standing about 6'5". He just understands how to play.
Freshman from Vienna, Virginia, feeds Trimble into the baseline. Big strides along the baseline for 2.
My goodness, what a Euro step. Trimble, he just has so much power in his lower body. He changes direction. You see it on the defensive end every possession, but offensively, he gets inside 8 feet. Just a tough cover. Nice shot.
First made bucket of the night for East Carolina. First points for the Pirates in over 5 minutes. And it snaps a 12-0 Carolina run. Trimble makes his way down the lane, rises up. Nice job defensively by Luka Davis to meet him near the rim.
Derek Dixon getting into the lane. Terrific pass to the corner. And this power right here, the change of direction and the stride. He had to have covered 9 to 11 feet, something like that. I mean, the elasticity in his lower body, the flexibility to be able to cover that much space, along with that lower body strength. I mean, just so impressive. And you talk about what you miss whenever he was out for an extended period of time with that left arm injury. Defensive point of attack defender, obviously. But he brings another element in transition with how fast he plays. And you see him attacking the rim and how athletic he is at that point. And
on top of all that, Terrence, the senior from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, is truly the leader of the team. He's been here 4 years. He's the captain. Nice help side rejection by Stevenson into the game. At 6'10", the junior from right here in Chapel Hill with his first moment to shine here in the Dean Dome tonight.
Nice job, Jonathan Powell, getting over a little bit late, sure, but understanding if you're the primary defender, you're not going to be the guy that blocks a shot. You got to get in front. Help side's going to be able to come over and help you out. Jaron Stevenson at 6'10", able to get there.
More of the size for the Tar Heels. Shot clock down to 5. From the short corner, missed by Riley. And if East Carolina's going to have any kind of chance tonight, A, they've got to turn the Tar Heels over, which ECU has been able to do at times this year. But Michael Schwartz needs to get Jordan Riley going. Again, he's averaging nearly 22 points per game, still scoreless here tonight.
Seth Trimble, I mean, he might not be quite, oh my. Ooh.
Everything but the finish for Jonathan Powell, and here comes Riley back the other way for ECU. Protects the ball like it's a football, can't get it to go. Tar Heels back the other way. Powell has numbers, throws it up to the rim, and Mr. Wilson with yet another slam dunk.
Hello, Caleb Wilson.
Both of his field goals so far tonight on slams. He's got 5 points, another rebound, and the precocious freshman dribbles up. Personal foul on Luka Davis.
Carolina gets out in transition, and it is depth. Terrific pass by Jonathan Powell. And Caleb Wilson understands, I give it up, I'll get it back. That's 2 hands for safety. Just such a talented young man. Every bit of 6'10". His ability to get out and run, that athleticism. There's been a lot of conversation about Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, AJ DeBansa. When the NBA draft comes up, he's going to be in the conversation for the #1 overall pick.
He has played as well as any freshman, clearly, in the country through the first couple of months of the season. Here's Dixon. Steps inside, dumps it off. Stevenson right to the rim.
Come on, Derek Dixon. With all the athletes that Carolina has on the floor, the ball is swung, fundamental shot fake, and a bounce pass. When's the last time you saw a clean bounce pass?
Yep.
I've never been so fired up for a bounce pass. That's just good hoop right there.
And he was under control, played off of 2 feet, wasn't hurried up.
That's the scouting report. Guy knows ball.
I like it. Jonathan Powell picks up his first. A sophomore from Centerville, Ohio, off the bench for Hubert Davis again tonight. Tybo Bailey with the basketball. Back to the point guard, Corey Hawker. Fairfax Christian High School.
Tell you what, the spacing for ECU struggling a little bit. They have many times had 5 guys, and that's a good shot, fine, but A lot of times they've had 5 guys on one side of the floor. Carolina doing a terrific job defensively of scout team defense. And Derek Dixon keeping it simple.
He's your guy. From the mid-range, first 2 points. 6'5" freshman, a top 60 recruit out of Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C.
Was a Gatorade Player of the Year in Washington, D.C. last season. Plays with his head up, keeps it simple. Excellent pass. Just off.
Calker saw he didn't have numbers, pulls it back out.
Just really good defense.
Just taken away by Powell. And then Bogavac, who's gotten off to a quick start here tonight, is fouled.
Derek Dixon is turning into one of my favorite players. Look at this. Keep it simple. Easy bounce pass. Nothing. Easy finish for Stevenson. Then turn down the ball screen, mid-range, over and out. Provide value within your conference schedule. So last year, a lot of teams, Wake Forest in particular, were like, well, we don't have opportunities in the league to improve our resume. No longer the case with 10 teams in the top 60 now that we're starting to get out of non-conference play. Massive. Massive for the league.
Virginia already won its game tonight. No trouble with American, which preceded ours here on ACC Network. Meanwhile, how about number 44 in white at the free throw line, Luka Bogavac. Over the last couple of games, he had 1 made field goal. First 5 minutes tonight, 2 field goals, and back to the free throw line.
Wired as a scorer. He was at SC Derby last year, averaged close to 15 points a game. That's in Montenegro in the Adriatic League. That league, known for its fundamentals, known for its execution, for its scouting, plays slower than the American college game. It's been an adjustment for him to understand you have to be in gear the entire contest. Sometimes those things take a little while. I understand he was a pro. Style of play is huge.
His 7 points lead all scorers tonight. Riley, that was a 2-point try. Foot was on the line. Dixon at the point, out there with Stevenson. Bogavac, Veesaar back in there. And Jonathan Powell, the 5 on the floor for the Heels. Giving up a lot of size, trying to defend that post pass, was Isaiah Mbang, who picks up the personal.
And Mbang, you get caught on a switch, and that's a tough situation to be in if you're 6'2", 183 pounds, going up against Stevenson, who's all of 6'10".
Yep.
The big thing you have to know is somebody has my back behind. I need to move my feet and get around. The second you reach and you're at a disadvantage guarding a bigger player, you're going to get that foul call. Get in front, rely on your help side behind you, especially when the ball's being entered from the 45.
And he is a very good defender.
Yes. As
his older brother Bez Mbang, who's in the G League now, 2-time Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. Last year, the overall Player of the Year in the Ivy at Yale. But like you say, when you're 6'1", trying to defend somebody who's 6'10", there's only so much you can do.
So you're saying defense is genetic? My kids are screwed. They've got no shot.
So you're saying you were not known for your defense at Clemson?
It's not why I got paid, buddy. Not at Clemson, but afterwards.
Nice. Riley on the board finally. Took him nearly 10 minutes against this Carolina defense.
I mean, you see the build for Jordan Riley. Off to a slow start so far today, but just really strong, athletic, huge hands.
He's at his 3rd stop, a couple of years at Georgetown, where he said he learned toughness, then a year at Temple, and now his 2nd year at ECU. Carolina's lead grows to 26-8, thanks to the shot from Jonathan Powell.
It's my 2nd game here in Chapel Hill, and I love watching Jonathan Powell play every time, more and more. And his stats aren't loud, but he understands spacing. He can shoot the ball. Nice duck in by Emejuru. He understands spacing. He can knock down shots, doesn't turn the basketball over, and he defends. And when you have a 3-headed monster like Veesaar, Wilson, and Trimble, you need those other guys to play well.
Yep. He's been knocking down threes, Veesaar, at a remarkable rate. 45% coming into the game.
It's fantastic. But back to Powell, you need that ancillary scoring. There's going to come a game towards the end of the season It's going to be Powell or it could be Jaden Young. It's going to have to be one of those two guys to hit big shots.
Darcy picks up the miss by Riley. Shot clock at 15, 8:35 left to go in the first half here at the Dean Smith Center. Patty Darcy misfires. And here comes Carolina. The Tar Heels have had 7 different players score so far tonight, including Veesaar. Draws the double team, finds the open man in the corner. And Emejuru clears the miss.
How about the pass?
Well, when you're 7 feet, double teamed by 2 guys who are 6 inches shorter, it makes it a little easier to see over it.
Oh, well, there's no doubt. But you still got to get it done. And that is a strong man.
Emejuru, at 260 pounds, discarded the 7-footer like he wasn't even there.
Plays basketball like a Clydesdale. All power.
Man.
Emejuru, he is one strong individual. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Carolina. Swing it to the other corner. Jonathan Powell. Corner pocket. That's good. Just continuing to move the basketball. Pick and pop 5-man. Veesaar, pretty good.
Into a similar score. There's Jeff Lebo, the former Tar Heel, arguably the greatest shooter in program history.
Ooh.
Back on staff with
That's a long list right there.
It is, but he's in the mix. He's in the conversation. And you see, if East Carolina is to come back tonight like they did a week ago against Buffalo and win the ball game, it would be huge news. First time in this in-state rivalry. All right.
It was a heck of a jacket that Lebo was rocking there.
Jeff back at his alma mater, on staff with Hubert Davis, who Hubert as well would also be in that conversation for greatest shooting Tar Heel of all time. Emejuru, who had 6 dunks their last time out against Presbyterian, has 2 in the last minute against Carolina, give him 8 points to lead the Pirates.
He lives inside 6 feet. He's not going to venture outside. The only shot that he's going to take that's not a dunk or a layup is from the free throw line. He knows what he's good at, and he attacks the basket. If you're Veesaar, you have to do a good job continuing to move your feet. And here goes East Carolina a little bit.
Tybo Bailey
with some
end-to-end.
force.
His first bucket makes it 29-16. We were talking off mic in between our last segment about the fact that Carolina has come into this game very much focused and has been very workmanlike. We talked in the open about, you know, Christmas is 3 days away.
Sure.
Students are gone. You know you're going to get a 4-day break coming up. Would they be focused? Coach Davis has had his team ready to go, but coming out of that last time out, seems like maybe there's a little slippage. ECU making a run. You see 6 unanswered points. Caleb Wilson back into the game, calling for the ball, being defended by the 6'2" Tybo Bailey. And Caleb's wondering, why is the ball not coming around to the other side to find me? Trimble keeps working, able to get to the bucket for a layup.
And here's the great part about that possession. Because Trimble dribbles out and Veesaar brings his men out, there's no shot blocking for ECU. Trimble, without help side from a bigger player, able to get an easy look.
Darcy, good looking stroke on the 3. The freshman from Adelaide, Australia, has his first points tonight. Carolina turns it over. The Pirates have a little momentum here.
Little energy. They thrive off their defense. Whenever they create turnovers and they can play fast, that's how they generate their rhythm.
Well, they forced 19 turnovers Wednesday in the win over Presbyterian. They forced a ton of turnovers, especially in the second half against Buffalo in their 2 most recent wins. Carolina now with 3 turnovers in the first 14 minutes tonight. To shoot.
Nope.
Caleb Wilson says, give me that. Then coughed it up.
Yep.
And that's an over and back violation.
It was right in front of us. Bill Covington made the right call. Good hustle. Terrific defensive possession. Caleb Wilson staying in front of the guard, tries to go behind the back. And Wilson's the last person to have possession. It goes back over. That's a good call by Bill Covington. Really good officiating crew here in Chapel Hill tonight.
Trimble caught the ball from the backcourt before he had established himself in the front court.
Correct. So if he's jumping over, it doesn't matter your body position if you haven't gotten on the ground yet. Uh-oh.
Bad pass by Emejuru over the head of Parker and out of bounds. Second turnover committed by the Pirates. 5:34 to go in the half. 31-19 North Carolina over East Carolina. With Terrence Oglesby, I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you're with us on this Monday night in Chapel Hill. Final regular season non-conference game for both of these teams. ECU will take on Tulane on New Year's Eve. Trimble makes the bucket and then had something to say with somebody on the East Carolina bench. I got the sense that maybe their feet got tangled. 8 points now for Trimble.
A little bit. Really nice move. Kyan Evans. Good defensive possession. Tough shot. Now Carolina's dangerous. Trimble gets the rebound. He can push the pace. They're so quick in their decision making. When you have a trail shooter like that, it just adds a different element to the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Veesaar's a perfect 2 for 2 from distance so far tonight.
Strong side help can't happen. Trimble over on the side gets his feet tangled up and says a little something. Don't worry about that. Referees, Tony Chiazza, he's going to handle that. And Veesaar, the next time down, gets a trail 3. This Carolina team, when they're playing fast and with rhythm, it just changes what they can do on the offensive end of the floor. So dangerous when they're playing quickly.
So Caleb Wilson was called for his first foul.
Foul on the floor. North Carolina common foul. Plays under review for a potential flagrant.
Oh, they have it over the loudspeaker. I love that.
I want to make sure 19,000 people can boo at them.
That's right. So here's, yep. And here's the thing. He thinks he's getting hooked. Caleb Wilson grabs and throws. Carolina fans aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but this is initiated by Caleb Wilson. I'd be shocked if it doesn't get upgraded to a flagrant 1.
Yeah, it seems to be the classic hook and hold as the 3 officials, Ron Groover, Bill Covington Jr., Tony Chiazza, have their discussion.
And if you're Caleb Wilson, you don't have to do that. Shot's already off. It looks like we're going to excessive or unnecessary. I think this qualifies here.
After review, the common foul, North Carolina will be upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul. East Carolina will have 2 shots in the ball.
And I actually think that's the right call, Doug. Excessive, little unnecessary. And here's the thing, if he just spins off, we're going to take another look right here. See number 2, Isaiah Mbang. He's just trying to hold his ground. Is he holding around a little bit? Sure, but he's giving up 8 inches and about 30 pounds. Like if you're Caleb Wilson, just spin off, put yourself in position for the offensive rebound.
On the other side of that last shot, though, was Wilson's arm being hooked.
It looked to me.
And I'm not saying the call is incorrect, but I can understand the frustration if he was being hooked on the other side.
I don't think his arms were. If we're going to take one more look at it, and I do think that first one maybe, but he grabs a hold with his right hand and with that throwing motion. To me,
no doubt. I agree.
Flagrant 1. I agree with the officiating crew here.
And I was just saying I can understand the frustration if he was being
absolutely
held on the other side. But as you said, you just can't do it.
Yep.
So 1 out of 2 from the line for Mbang on the flagrant 1. East Carolina with the basketball down by 17. Riley after the good rip through it. Coming from the weak side always is number 8 in white.
His head was at the rim. Doug Sherman, this is an athlete. Let's take another look. My goodness. I'm going to take my frustration out on the defensive end. And as a help side shot blocker, he could be an All-American volleyball player.
Well, between Wilson and Veesaar, you've always got to assume if they're both on the floor, one of them is coming from the weak side.
But a great defense by the primary defender to keep Jordan Riley from extending all the way up. I've been impressed with Carolina defensively today. I mean, so far, only giving up 20 points. 8 for 26 is ECU from the field. Scouting team defense has been really good. They're pre-switching a lot of these things. Carolina really locked in and focused. Another good one.
With the timer down, that's a forced turnover. by this UNC defense. By the way, Caleb Wilson now with 3 block shots so far tonight. 3 of the 4 for the Tar Heels against Mike Schwartz's ECU Pirates. Well, it has been a struggle all year for ECU shooting the basketball. They are next to last in the country in 3-point shooting percentage. Only 26%. Only Rider University is worse amongst the 365 D1 schools right now. And then when you face a superior defensive team, Emejuru is going to be called for the foul. When you face a team like Carolina that has defended so well and is engaged like this, it makes it that much tougher.
Absolutely right. And here's the thing, too, about East Carolina. You know, last game they beat Presbyterian, 6 dunks by Emejuru, and then Emejuru, excuse me. So you're getting everything around the cup. The game prior, where they got down big against Buffalo, they were able to get the game into a track meet because they were getting turnovers, live ball turnovers, and playing in the open floor. They just haven't been able to get enough stops for that to be a consistent thing. Heads up.
I think Wilson will gladly trade the free throw for a dunk. 7 points for the freshman from Atlanta. By the way, that last foul was on Patty Darcy, not on Emejuru. And there is some of the athleticism we talked about from Jordan Riley, able to get to the rim. You know, when we asked him after shoot-around this morning, have you played your last football game? There was a twinkle in his eye.
He did.
When he
there
said,
was
you
a
know,
noticeable.
I am not going to put that thought to bed. He could play professionally in basketball for years to come, but football is certainly a pop. All right, thank you guys. Back in Chapel Hill.
Can confirm we just try to get out of the way, but my emotions won't let me.
Really?
Whenever Caleb Wilson has a dunk like that,
or
nothing
Dixon has a bounce pass,
well,
your emotions can get the better of you.
I'm an emotional fella. Nothing dunks like a Wilson scorned.
How about that? You're on fire. Wilson has 3 block shots. His career high is 4. He did that against North Carolina Central. Fighting for position on the baseline out of bounds. Out there with Trimble, Stevenson. Wilson has it taken away.
It's really
by
good
Reed
defense.
Kaysen.
Yeah, really good defense by Reed Kaysen.
And they try to find Emejuru inside, and just into the ball game. James Brown is going to be called for the personal foul, his first, the sophomore from Aurora, Illinois. And he is just another big body for Hubert Davis. Again, the positional size was a problem the last couple of years, addressed from top to bottom on the roster for UNC this year. Mbang misfires. Here comes Trimble. Wilson draws the second defender, who knocks it away. Cocker with the steal, now dribbles up for ECU. Riley knifes into the lane. Finds the wide open.
Man, they can't buy one.
Wing shooter who missed it. Kaysen able to finally get the ball to go through the cylinder.
I mean, Caleb Wilson's length in his second jump. He can go for the first ball fake and then land it and get back off the floor so quickly.
How about the elevation on that from Trimble? Nobody's blocking that shot. He's into double figures with 10.
Fantastic athlete. He's done a remarkable job on Jordan Riley. 2 of 12. Very uncharacteristic of him. And man, the length of Caleb Wilson is insane. He is bothering everything. He's blocking shots, 3-point shots. That doesn't happen all that often. Blocking 3-point shots, deflecting passes. And he's the primary defender. And he's getting the passes because of his length and activity.
Yeah, one thing that I think surprised a lot of folks coming into this season is how hard he plays all the time.
All the time. He was the guy that was engaged at shoot-around today. And Hubert Davis raved about it. They weren't talking quite loud enough. And Caleb Wilson was the guy who led the charge of bringing the volume up a little bit. And I'm not saying they were relaxed, because they were having individuals before shoot-around. They brought it.
We're looking ahead to a women's basketball doubleheader on ACC and Monday the 29th. Hannah Hidalgo, number 18 Notre Dame, hosting Pitt in South Bend at 6 Eastern. And then India Navarre leads number 16 North Carolina's balanced attack against Boston College at Conti Forum. Both are also available on the ESPN app. A couple of free throws for Wilson, who now has 9 points. He has gone for 20 or more in each of the last 4 games. And the star freshman will take a seat with 2:24 remaining in the half.
Doug, your call about a workman-like performance, spot on. I mean, they've attacked the rim, they've defended, and positionally, they've been excellent defensively.
Other than the one blip coming out of the under 8
Sure.
timeout, when ECU, I think, had 6 unanswered points, Carolina hasn't blinked.
100%. And it's been the attention to detail that's impressed me the most. You know, these scouting report defenses, sometimes guys will lose a little bit of focus. You get a few turnovers, you want to get out and run, leak out a little bit. Carolina has not shown that so far today.
And again, it was a quick scout on the turnaround from Saturday afternoon's win over Ohio State in Atlanta. They did have a full practice here at the Smith Center yesterday and then had their walkthrough today. And the guys certainly are locked in so far tonight. 3 to shoot. Mbang trying to create. That is a tough shot with Powell right in his grill. Veesaar, perfect 2 for 2 from 3. Make it 3 out of 3 so far tonight. This is Carolina's largest lead of the ball game.
And Emejuru, not accustomed to guarding a guy like Veesaar who can step out and shoot with consistency. 3 of 3 today, and all 3 of them have been walk-in.
Davis a little strong. Emejuru with his 3rd dunk. He's got 10 points to lead East Carolina. Emejuru defensively meets Trimble. It'll be Carolina ball.
Hey, he's impressive, right? And here's the thing, he's going to have to get out and guard on the perimeter. Veesaar, Emejuru a little bit too strong on the help, and Veesaar just enough room. At 7 feet tall, that ball's up high. Davis Bertans, who played in the NBA for a long time from Latvia, kind of the same shooting form. High release point, both had good side. I think Veesaar is a little bit better of a player, to be honest with you.
Bogavac misses twice. Here comes Riley with his head up. Always has at least 4 eyes on him. Gets the shot up against 2 defenders, and then the foul on the rebound.
Foul's going to be on Davis, trying to get an offensive rebound. I've been really impressed with Emejuru, though. I mean, this is a guy from England, has obviously the English passport. He's going to play in Europe for a long time. You have that kind of size and physicality. And the big thing is, too, knowing what you're good at and not trying to play outside of that, right? Mike Schwartz has a beast on the block that understands I'm not going to try to get outside of what I do, and what I do is dunk it.
Yep. Averaging about 14 points a game, 9 rebounds, 1.6 blocks per game. But he can score. I mean, 2 years ago at Siena, he put 30 on Manhattan. And if you give him any space within 5 feet, he's going to score.
I mean, how many people are that big in the Metro Atlantic?
Or on the planet?
You see it tonight. Emejuru really good tonight. He's the only guy who can find any kind of rhythm, and it's just because he has such a strength advantage over anybody he plays against.
Final 45 seconds of the half. North Carolina up by 21. East Carolina with the ball. Here is their captain, Jordan Riley, out of Brentwood, New York. That's on Long Island. Trimble after the double team with the steal. Trying to score on Calker, and he does.
So strong. You know, Seth Trimble, you see him on TV and you're like, man, that kid looks strong. You see him in person. Like, I'm not saying he has Saquon Barkley type thighs, but I'm not saying it. He is so strong in the open floor. They're trying to bounce him off. Just doesn't work. He's terrific.
5 seconds to go in the half. Calker finds Darcy. Got a good look to close out the half, but East Carolina came up empty. It's been all North Carolina here through 20 minutes at the Dean Dome. Let's send it back to the studio. Taylor, take it away.
Smiles all around for the Tar Heels in that first half. And Seth Trimble also playing well, but that 4-5 combination is good as any 4-5 combination in all of college basketball.
Why did they? I mean, they're both very, very talented. But why specifically do Veesaar and Wilson seem to fit so well together and play off each other so well?
It's because they have guard-like skill. I think that's first and foremost. You can use them in so many different ways. Uh-oh.
Bogavac puts it back in. He's got 9 points.
And if you want to drive Coach Mike Schwartz crazy, come out of the half up 2 offensive rebounds. He comes from the Rick Barnes School of Toughness. And I actually think that's a good call. Off arm by Emejuru. But if you're going to come out, you need to come out with a certain level of toughness. He's a Rick Barnes guy, right? Can't give up offensive rebounds against a team as talented as North Carolina. And I am burning up in this sweater. Unbelievable. I mean, this Carolina team, how well they're playing, moving the basketball. Now we got a moving screen. A little bit of a stagnant start.
Well, the toughness for Mike Schwartz goes before his relationship with Coach Barnes. His mom, Lynn Rubin, her married name now is Lesher, along with his best friend, younger brother, Mark, are as tight as a family can be. And in talking this morning with Mike about it, he lights up when talking about his mom's journey as a refugee in the 60s from the Middle East, wound up in Southern California. She worked so hard in retail and eventually owned a sweater shop in downtown Los Angeles to make sure that her 2 boys would never be wanting for anything. Bogavac hits the 3. And so with that, enabled Mike to go to Beverly Hills High School, enabled him to go to college, to Sonoma State. And it was at that point he realized, well, I'm not going to make the NBA. I want to get into coaching. Got himself to Austin, Texas, where the Rick Barnes relationship took off. Coach Barnes, he says, is a father figure to her. But mom and brother are watching the ACC network right now out in Los Angeles. Hello to them. Brother and your son is thinking of you every moment of the day.
Passionate being is Mike Schwartz. Not only about his family, about his team. His mother's toughness runs through him.
Yep.
It's a great story, though.
Mike told us about Mark earlier today. Says he's my best friend. He lives it with me. And he's been in this building with his brother multiple times. Of course, Coach Schwartz, as an assistant at the University of Miami under Frank Haith, had been in this building. And then had also been here as an assistant at Tennessee. So his brother has been here with him, but watching from the West Coast tonight. Air ball by Bogavac. Holds his hand up and says, my fault, bad shot. Out of bounds untouched, back to East Carolina.
Yeah, and that's a shot that you probably live with in Europe. But here, I'd like to see the ball change sides of the floor at least a couple of times. And when you're a shooter like that, you're going to take a bad one or two every so often. But let that ball find the energy for you. Don't have to force the issue.
Cocker still scoreless at the point for ECU. Wilson dribbles up. Wilson with his 10th rebound. This one on the offensive glass, and he draws the foul.
I think the right word is relentless. I mean, his activity is unbelievable. Talked to Dennis Scott, 3D, in the studio. He said the competitive joy that this young man plays with is just different. Wilson out of Atlanta. 3D lives in Atlanta. Saw him as he's coming up. And all these stories about Caleb Wilson having some of the past scouting reports on him where he's 4th, 5th, 6th in the recruiting rankings. He said that's real. He said he carries those things around him all the time. He plays with a certain edge. And a lot of that he's feeding himself constantly. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, who in Carolina lore
exactly
shares a story similar to that? His number 23 is hanging to my left.
Caleb Wilson takes it personally.
Kyan Evans is at a quiet night. Here's Caleb Wilson filling the lane, missed the layup. Emejuru clears. Here comes East Carolina. Nearly 3 minutes gone here in the second half in this final regular season non-conference game. 4th dunk of the night. 12 points for Emejuru.
Just get to the front of the rim. And when East Carolina is playing fast, they find those spots. Nice play.
Veesaar. That is a new career high with 4 made threes tonight. 57-28. He's got 14 and counting.
That's just terrific pick and roll offense by Luka Bogavac. Snaking the ball screen, getting in the paint. Both guys come, and he's able to spray back out. Just really good. Snaking it, getting to that ACC. Emejuru overcommits, and you can't do that with Henri Veesaar, who the 2 games that I've had Carolina, he has been nothing short of outstanding. In the first game, he was 11 for 12. This game, 5 of 6 so far. He doesn't miss much. Carolina fans, if you want him to play this well, keep inviting me back.
Well,
I'm taking the credit, Doug.
As well you should. Well, he prides himself on his offensive rebounding. And he cites Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings as doing it the right way. And again, it gets down to the nuts and bolts of the game. Yeah, it's great to score, but he does other things very, very well. Riley on the steal, attacks the big man, tries again, no. Veesaar has it again. Here comes Carolina. 4 on 3. Bogavac finds Veesaar, fakes the pass, puts it up, can't get the roll. And Emejuru grabs the rebound. Careful when I, like you just did, want to take credit for a team in front of you playing well, because you know what the flip side of that is.
That's right.
Emejuru able to keep it in bounds.
And he's a beast.
Offensive foul. Whistle came a little bit late, and Jordan Riley can't believe it. I'm going to be at the JMA Wireless Dome that afternoon for the basketball conference opener between Clemson and Syracuse. I'll be happy to be there as our alma maters go head to head.
That's right.
Where will you be for New Year's?
I will be at the Spectrum Center for the Charlotte Hornets.
Hornets have a game that afternoon.
Yep, against the Golden State Warriors.
I assume Steph will play, at least hopefully.
Let's bring your kid to work day. Del Curry and Steph, both in the same building. I'm thinking about bringing my son.
With Terrence Oglesby, I'm Doug Sherman here at the Dean Dome. North Carolina has led throughout. Actually, East Carolina took a 2-0 lead, a couple of free throws early, but then UNC rattled off 12 in a row. First bucket of the night for Kyan Evans, the junior from Kansas City, makes it 60-28 Tar Heels. What do you make of Kyan Evans? He had 9 scoreless minutes in the first half. His role still does not, to me, seem like it's fully defined as he's transferred in from Colorado State.
Well, starkly different. And the system fit is very different than where he came from with Nico Medved, who's now at Minnesota coaching Tar Heel transfer Cade Tyson. But I digress. At Colorado State, he played with Nick Clifford, who's now with the Sacramento Kings, and Isaiah Stevens, also in the Kings organization. He was kind of this secondary, tertiary ball handler that was playing off the catch in a little bit more of a motion-based offense. Carolina's a much different situation. He's being asked to set things up.
By the way, I just got to mention,
people want
free throw, crumble cookies for the fans, and they get it. Merry Christmas. But anyhow, back to Colorado State and the transition and style of play to here at Chapel Hill.
And the ball popped, and he was able to find things inside their motion offense to find gaps. North Carolina calls their sets a lot more often than Colorado State did. So there are differences in how these programs play. He's still trying to find his rhythm. Last year he shot 44% from 3. Very much trying to pick his spots, find where he can be effective, and be that primary ball handler that Hubert Davis knows he needs.
And again, he was honorable mention All Mountain West last year with that excellent shooting, averaged over 10 per game, and has played in the last 2 NCAA tournaments. He can play.
His stellar play alongside Nick Clifford won the Mountain West for Colorado State in the tournament last year in Las Vegas. And they end up getting a win in the NCAA tournament. He was a big reason why. But now the flow of these two offenses are completely different. Jordan Riley just has not had his way.
No, he hasn't. The senior from Long Island, New York, has just 4 points, averaging nearly 22 per game. He has the highest usage rate in the American Conference, among the highest in the country at over 31%. But it just has not been his night so far. He was one of the many Pirates, and with many visiting players when they come into the Dean Dome for the first time, and for announcers and fans, you immediately look up at the rafters. And in talking to Jordan Riley, asked him who the players were he grew up idolizing. He said, well, Kobe, and then that other guy, MJ. And I said, so when you walked in here, There, Jordan Riley misses the shot. Said, "Where'd your eyes go?" And he kind of just smiled and it's like, that was a dumb question. Of course, I looked up to the rafters to see number 23. And there is Michael Jordan's number. And then my other obvious question of Jordan Riley, were you named for Michael Jordan? And he said, no, my mom and dad didn't do that. But he does not mind having the first name of Jordan.
Well, he's a terrific player. And a lot of what ECU does offensively, they clear a side out and they let him go to work in the mid post. Well, today Carolina has been able to match his physicality, and they've been able to throw different looks at him. There have been times when Caleb Wilson gets the switch, and Seth Trimble has defended him in the post, who's might not be as strong, but he's right there, and he's able to absorb the blows that Riley uses those broad shoulders for. And because he's seeing so many different looks and so many different bodies, it makes it really difficult for him to find any type of rhythm whatsoever.
And once they get to conference play, which is coming up in their next outing against Tulane, they're not going to face the type of physicality, of course, that they are facing tonight against North Carolina. The teams to look out for in the American: Memphis was the preseason favorite. Tulsa is the surprise so far at 11-1, but USF, Tulane, that young man
is a monster.
Not going to be pushed around by anybody. 14 points now for Emejuru.
He's been the Lone Ranger for the Pirates. And I was curious how it was going to work today because Carolina has all this length. You see East Carolina's upcoming schedule. Jordan Riley picked preseason first team All-American Conference. Going to have to find some kind of rhythm after today.
Well, against Rowan Brumbaugh on the Green Wave, you can see that on ESPNU. Brumbaugh, the preseason player of the year in the American.
Coach Ron Hunter, obviously terrific down there in New Orleans.
Wilson to the rim, and he'll have a chance for 3. 11 points as he eyes a potential 5th straight 20-point game.
Nice play off the roll. And here's the difference there. He catches the ball facing the rim. ECU has been sending a guy baseline. If he catches it in a little bit more space, he faces the rim. He knows where the double team's coming, if it ever comes at all. But this freshman, you know, most double-doubles by a freshman, already in that category today with 9. He just processes the game so well. He makes a mistake. It's seldom you see it made twice during the course of a game.
Another double-double today, 12 points, 10 rebounds. He leads the ACC in that category. And again, the list of Tar Heels on that last graphic, it catches your attention.
Absolutely.
He's all over the record book already. Just 13 games into his career. Another near rebound there for Wilson. Emejuru got himself into trouble. Dixon took it away. Tar Heels on the run. Dixon still with it. Puts it up for Caleb Wilson.
Freshman to freshman.
Riley into the lane for 2. Quick timeout for the Pirates.
Just really good transition offense by the Tar Heels. And Derek Dixon, one freshman, he's off and running. And this Carolina team so good. Hangs on to it just long enough. He can throw it up. And hey, Caleb Wilson, just place it in there. That'll be fine.
And look at this. When you talk about Veesaar and Wilson, what they are doing. The last time 2 Tar Heels in the same season averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds, it was Lee Schaffer and Doug Moe all the way back in 1959, 1960. What a 1-2 combination inside for Coach Davis.
Anytime there's a Lee Schaffer and Doug Moe conversation happening, we're doing pretty well. Also, worth mentioning, phenomenal flat tops by those 2 in the bottom right-hand
Think
corner.
of the time, late 50s, early 60s.
I mean, if only.
Doug Moe had a, you didn't have to worry about messing up your hair putting the sweater on.
That's right.
But Doug Moe had a different look when he was an NBA head coach.
He did.
In the 70s and 80s. Hair was a little longer. Lapels were a little bigger. He's going to learn what the NBA life is perhaps after this year.
I would only assume so. I mean, what he does well at 7 feet. What he does well at 7 feet, to be able to orchestrate an offense as the hub of the offense for this Carolina team. He's a good passer. I've just been really, really impressed by his ability. And the thing is, too, you know, he comes from Arizona. Arizona had him rim running, and that's not where he's at. Hubert Davis and what his staff has done for Henri has been phenomenal. They let him stop at the 3, and then whenever he is setting ball screens and rolling to the cup, he's doing so with speed, because then he can use his athleticism. He is a little slight of frame at 7 feet. Narrow hips, sure. But if he's attacking the rim with speed, he can finish over the top. And he's just been wildly impressive over the first few, or over the non-conference season.
Bogavac will have a chance for 3. He's got 14 points. A nice bounce back performance for the junior from Montenegro.
Luka Bogavac, he's a born scorer, finally starting to get a little bit of rhythm. The European hang and finish.
Getting clothes for Christmas is criminal. He was all about toys and other stuff. And Seth Trimble's child partner agreed, saying, if I get clothes, I'm going to the North Pole and suing Santa. So let's hope there are no clothes coming up for that child.
How funny is that?
But, you know, Seth has done all sorts of charitable acts, both with the team and on his own. He has been generous with his time, hosted a Ben & Jerry's holiday party at the Chapel Hill Boys and Girls Club, and also handed out JBL headphones. And again, with these players making the money they do now playing college basketball, they are able to be even more generous out of their own pocket, along with the time that they give to those in their respective communities.
I don't think there's any doubt that Seth Trimble is a Carolina man. That is big time stuff.
Well, he comes by it naturally. Folks know his older brother more than a decade ago. J.P. Tokido was a Tar Heel, and once a Tar Heel, always a Tar Heel. Just like the entire coaching staff hired by Hubert Davis, all former Tar Heels. And so, very much what you said, Seth Trimble follows in that Tar Heels mold.
Did you go to his Ben & Jerry's down on Franklin Street?
No, but I was thinking about it after the game, as a matter of fact.
Might need a pit stop. He brings value on the floor, too, that's for sure, Doug. I mean, this guy defensively today has been impressive. On Jordan Riley, who's been on a heater. Getting to the free throw line a little bit. Back comes the help. Seth Trimble back in the ballgame.
Jordan Riley now with 9 points. North Carolina has held the Americans' leading scorer, some 12, 13 points under his season average. Trimble looks at his feet, makes sure he's not out of bounds, and as he falls out of bounds, able to get it back to Dixon. Still 10 on the timer. Caleb Wilson is fouled on the entry pass. It's a reach-in against Tybo Bailey, his third. We have seen this matchup all night. Bailey at 6'2", trying to play post defense against the 6'10" Caleb Wilson.
And the interesting thing about Tybo Bailey, I mean, this guy was a top 150 guard coming out of high school. Didn't play much last year. Now getting some opportunities. It's just the size and athleticism. Whenever he has to switch off on Wilson, it's overwhelming.
Riley was bumped by Trimble in what has been the most interesting and entertaining one-on-one matchup so far tonight in this ball game.
So tough when you have to defend a player coming at you full speed. You have to do your best to keep him on the side where the extra defenders are at. But Riley, I mean, the acceleration for that young man, out of this world.
And on top of that, that foul on Trimble, just his first. So he's been playing lockdown defense without committing fouls.
And that's what they missed the most when it went down with injury, is that point of attack defender, the guy who can cut off the ball and cut off the water. Quite really developed that part of his game. He's always been a terrific transition athlete. I saw him play in the Peach Jam, big strong body, but the defensive part of what he brings to the table is outstanding.
And statistically, you have been able to measure that growth during his 4-year career here at Carolina.
He tries to dunk everything.
He does. He and Veesaar want to dunk everything. Caleb already has 3 dunks tonight. Veesaar steps out, puts up an air ball. Pirates basketball. Well, Wilson came into the game leading the nation in slam dunks this year. It's up to 39. He couldn't quite get number 40 on that last sequence. Emejuru.
He's been good, man.
Also the national leaders in dunks, lays that one in. He's got 16 points to lead ECU.
He's been the bright spot for this Pirates team. I'll say this, Jordan Riley has been a hair away from about 5 steals. That's a tough move. And the remarkable thing, we had a chance to talk to him a little bit because he's led the American Conference in steals.
He went up thinking I'm going to dunk and then realized, well, the rim's still over there.
Right. He tries to dunk. It's unbelievable. But Jordan Riley, back to the point. We talked about, like, led the American Conference in steals last year, north of 2. We talked to him a little bit before the game. He said, you know, I learned how to watch film at Georgetown.
Yeah.
Right. And you can see it. He tries to switch early, get out in the passing lanes. And he just has such good explosion coupled with that wingspan. Just terrific find for Mike Schwartz and company, who hasn't always played at this high of a level.
Well, he singled out Robert Kirby, one of Patrick Ewing's assistant coaches in his 2 years at Georgetown, as being instrumental in part of his development.
He said he taught him how to watch film. Played for Pat Ewing at Georgetown. Played for Pat Ewing at Georgetown. He said that's where he developed the most. I have to make an impact to get on the floor.
Yeah.
Struggled to get on the floor. Started to pick it up, watch film. Asked him what he learned at Temple. He said, not a thing.
Well, in watching East Carolina tape getting ready for this game, as Riley left it short again with a line drive shot. The stick back by Reed Kaysen. I kept coming back to a former Pirate who played a couple of years in the NBA, Elijah Hughes. And Elijah shoots it much, much better than Jordan Riley. But in terms of the ability to get to the basket, get to the mid-range, body type similar, I just kept thinking of him. Veesaar off the pass from Trimble with the flush. He's got 16 points.
Draw 2, dump it through.
Good hustle by Veesaar, who waits for his teammate to come help him out.
Trimble coming off a pick and roll. I'm going to hang in the air as long as I need. Veesaar doesn't get much easier than that if you're 7 feet. It's been a dominant performance by Carolina.
He's talked about growing up in Estonia. Swimming was his first sport, even after having been afraid of the water. But then when you grow to be 7 feet, although swimmers by nature are long and tall, but at 7 feet, come on.
Well, he never has to swim because his feet are always at the bottom. Nice finish.
It sure was. Jordan Riley getting into his bag. He now has 11 points. Yeah, the game last Sunday in the historic come-from-behind win over Buffalo. They were down 21 and came back to beat the Bulls. He had 31 and just took over the ball game in the second half.
Well, they were forcing turnovers. He had 3-4 steals that game. He was able to finish. Tyler Bailey's in his head a little bit. You get an open shot, just take it. Don't rush. Uh-oh.
Trimble gives it back. Wilson's not going to miss this time. 4th dunk of the night. 19 points. And Phil Ford, who was sitting in the first row, is very well aware of the fact that he was the last Tar Heel 51 years ago. The only freshman ever in program history to have 5 consecutive 20-point ball games. And the young man on the floor calling for the ball could get there with one more hoop.
Carolina's been on fire. Caleb Wilson, he doesn't look tired. He keeps cutting. He's outstanding at finding gaps in the defense. It doesn't get much easier than that. Seth Trimble, easy pass. Caleb Wilson, easy finish.
Has ever done that until Caleb Wilson, who is 5 of 11 at the line tonight, has a chance for his 20th point right here. Is Phil Ford happy to share that title? I don't know.
There's some ego involved there. Here's the deal. There's not a whole lot to pick at. We were talking in the break. Not a whole lot to pick at with this Tar Heel performance. But you want your man to hit some free throws. Got to knock it down from the charity stripe.
Well, that's the other thing. He gets to the line a ton too, and he has made more than 5 free throws pretty much every game. And continues with that. So he goes out with his 21 points. Don't know if we'll see him again. 7.5 minutes remaining in regulation as both coaches go a little deeper into their benches. Jordan Riley around and out. Just into the game, Jaden Young. Second time we've seen the Virginia Tech transfer on the floor. He gets it up ahead to Powell. Isaiah Dennis, a freshman from Charlotte, had bad intentions on that weak side rebound. Couldn't haul it in. And bang. Airballs it.
Man, they really struggle from beyond the arc. Jordan Riley is a pest. But it has not been his night tonight. Carolina everywhere. He's picked up every possession.
Darcy off the mark. And here comes Dennis out of Davidson Day School in Charlotte. Out of bounds, 6:31 to go. Hubert Davis going back to his bench to bring James Brown back in. Riley has taken 22 shots so far tonight for East Carolina. And Terrence, he's made just 4. Like you said, not his night.
No, just so many bodies. And you look at his game, and if you watch the games before this, Jordan Riley can score.
Sure
and he can really score, 12 to 15 feet out. There's just been so much length for Carolina that has bothered him. And when you shoot a flat ball like he does, like, length is going to bother you even more. And if I look at his game and what he can continue to improve on, he adds a quality jump shot to where he shoots it from 33 to 36% from 3. This is a guy who could go to Europe, use those physical tools, play for a long time just because he's wired a certain way. And defensively, we haven't seen it so much tonight, but outstanding on-ball defender.
Yeah, he led the American last year at 2 steals per game. He's averaging that again this year. He gets tripped by Powell.
I like how physical Carolina's played defensively. I mean, you're going to foul, sure. You're going to have to live with those things, but Carolina on the defensive end of the floor has been everywhere. Jordan Riley nowhere to breathe.
Emejuru. Brown commits the foul, and it's a chance for 3 for the big fella. Emejuru now with 18 points.
18 points now, 13 rebounds. He is a beast inside. Teams in the American Conference. Giovanni Emejuru, Jordan Riley. You better know who they are whenever you go to Greenville.
Yeah, it's a tremendous 1-2 punch, and if Coach Schwartz can get the other guys around him to contribute in the manner that he needs them to, they can make some noise in the American. Nice find in the corner, and Powell has a beautiful stroke. 7 points for the sophomore and former West Virginia Mountaineer. Another thing about Jonathan Powell's game, he has only 5 turnovers this year in well over 200 minutes. So he's got a lot of things going for him coming off the bench for UNC.
Well, that's what he does. I mean, I want to say last year he had 18 turnovers in 963 minutes.
Yeah, the lowest turnover percentage in the entire Big 12 conference at West Virginia.
And he's a guy, the more you watch him, the more you like him.
20 points for Emejuru. Hey, what a New Year's Eve men's basketball rivalry doubleheader we've got for you right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Beginning at 2 Eastern, Monty Hansberry and the Hokies take on Testa Ritter and the 21st ranked Cavaliers of Virginia. They won earlier tonight. And then Wooden Award frontrunner Cam Boozer and the 6th ranked Duke Blue Devils will host Georgia Tech. Nice way to get ready to ring in 2026.
That Virginia team with Testa Ritter, Johan Grunlow. I think Virginia, a team that we haven't talked about enough. Ryan Odom's done a terrific job putting together a roster in year 1. They play fast, which has been refreshing to the Virginia faithful, and they really attack the offensive glass. That is a fun team to watch.
Tough shot by Riley. Long rebound comes out to ECU. Well, Virginia beat American earlier tonight on ACC Network 95-51. DeRitter had a career-high 27 points. And when we talk about the tremendous freshmen in the ACC, you know who we don't hear enough of is their hometown point guard, Chance Mallory. 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 4 assists today. A top 100 recruit who decided to stay home, and they are so happy in Charlottesville to have it.
Yeah, and he originally committed to Tony Bennett and decided, hey, I want to stay home, be a part of this program. And they're glad he did. I mean, you talk about a spark plug. He starts, comes off the bench, does a really nice job. Good night for the ACC here. Chance Mallory, though, small in stature, not on game, can really play.
And you know, he is small in terms of height, but he is thick. He looks like a football player.
That's right.
Mbeng challenges Brown out of bounds. Pirates will keep 22 seconds on the shot clock.
Get a look at Zayden High. Came out, shot the ball a little bit today. He's got a nice looking jump shot. Big. Kind of played his way out of the rotation a little bit. A lot of natural tools.
Well, he was a top 80 recruit, a 4-star out of San Antonio. And another one of the bigs Hubert Davis can go to.
Tell you what, James Brown is not small. And he is outsized thoroughly by Emejuru. Oh my goodness, nice move.
Yeah, they're both listed at 6'10". Brown is 240 pounds, and he's given up 20 in that matchup with Emejuru.
Plays hard. I mean, Emejuru, just hard not to be impressed with him. How he's constantly working to create angles for himself around the rim. And talk about a young man that's put together.
Well, until this year, again, this is his 4th school in 4 years. He didn't put up big numbers at George Mason last year, but 2 years ago for Carmen Massarello at Siena, he had his best statistical season up until now. Averaged over 11 points, nearly 7 rebounds for the Saints. But the young man in England, as you know very well, Terrence, will find somewhere overseas.
Oh, there's no question.
And can play for a long time.
Big guys like that have the passport, and people don't understand sometimes. You talk about, well, you got to go over and play in Europe and this, that, and the third. You're only allowed a certain allotment of players from the United States. Having that passport, it's a massive plus. Let's move Isaiah Dennis on the other end. Freshman, consensus top 80 player, is a big-time scorer in high school.
Darcy missed it, and it'll be Pirates basketball when we come back to the Dean Dome. Conference rivals in unusual places.
Talk about SMU. I think that's another team. B.J. Edwards, Boopie Miller.
Yeah.
Man, those two guys. And Jerome Pierre, who transferred from Jacksonville State, is a big-time guy. And it's one of the teams that, talent-wise, can go step for step with a lot of teams in this league.
And Cal is the biggest surprise so far in the ACC. Another one of those top 60 net teams. I think they've only lost once still so far this year. How about Isaiah Dennis coming off the bench, getting a little run here tonight?
Freshman from Davidson, right up the road. This is a guy who's a big-time scorer. It's going to take him a little time for Carolina fans to see the best version of Isaiah Dennis. But the talent is there. He's 6'5", he's bouncy, he shoots a good ball. He's looking to score. It's just some of these guys, Carolina has guys like that take a couple of years to get to their best ball. I think he qualifies as one of those types of players.
If they're patient enough.
Sure, and that's a big question now, but man, he shoots a nice ball. Exhibit A.
On cue, 5 quick points for the freshman from Charlotte. Give him 6 points. He missed half his high school senior season with a broken finger. But taking advantage of an opportunity tonight, here he dribbles into the front court. With a burst of speed.
You see it, though. He's geared one way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get to the cup. He's trying to score. When you have Bogavac, you have Seth Trimble, you have guys that are willing to play off the catch like Kyan Evans, it doesn't necessarily mesh really well, but he also needs time to add some muscle onto his frame. I mean, this is a guy who's got a lot of natural talent, scoring ability. And look, freshmen are allowed to be freshmen. I feel like we've lost sight of that with so many talented guys in the country.
Jaden Young, a 2,000-point scorer in high school, has 4 off the bench tonight. And now Coach Davis going a little deeper into his bench, and the folks here at the Dean Dome approve. Mbang, no. Out of bounds, back to the Tar Heels, and with 1:52 on the clock, here come the deep reserves. Evan Smith, John Holbrook, Elijah Davis, Von Matlakovich. Isaiah Dennis is the one player who stays out there. And I know Isaiah Dennis is wired, as you said, to shoot, but in this circumstance, you got your points. Let
you need to,
go.
you need to give it up here.
Matlakovich with the basketball. Back to Dennis. The coach's son, Elijah Davis, feeding the post. Matlakovich gets double teamed. He's like, what are you double teaming me for? Smith with the step through, no. Come on, second effort. Evan Smith, who played junior varsity basketball here at North Carolina for the program that is no more, probably the last ever UNC JV player to play on the varsity with a bucket.
He's stuffing the stat sheet right now, grabbing a rebound. Carolina, the reserves, they play the same way. Get out and push it.
Out of Ardrey High School in Charlotte. Inside Matlakovich, and he gets the roll. The sophomore from Croatia puts a crooked number in his scoring column. Now the only question, can they get to 100? Perkovich, a 3-ball for ECU.
The Eastern Bloc going at it here in the last 3 minutes.
Smith going to work. Davis puts up the 3. Come
on!
Count it! 99 for the Tar Heels.
Coach's kid, get you 3. Saw him out here with Hubert working on his jump shot the other day.
Wonderful father and son exercise. And they are having fun.
Just good stuff right here. Elijah Davis came out with shooting with Pops the other day. Feeling some kind of way. How you not love it?
Second year playing for his dad.
Hubert. There's a smile hiding behind that scowl.
No doubt. Don't want to forget LaDontae Felton into the ball game for East Carolina. Actually, a distant cousin of former Carolina All-American Raymond Felton has his first point of the night.
100 points get you Bojangles.
You gotta shoot. I know the shot clock is off, and I know they're not going to shoot, but come on.
Get the people a biscuit.
Well, the Boo Birds come out.
It's the only time they're getting booed today. What a performance.
After a 48-point win. 99-51. Carolina heads into the Christmas break on a 6-game winning streak, now 12-1 overall. For Terrence Oglesby and our entire crew, so long and happy holidays. We send it back to the studio.